You already know what it is, man. It's the kid Brian Waldron. Super excited. We are at Wedding MBA right now, booth 6151. Meeting the people, treating the people, making sure we know how to get it done. It's been a really, really dope experience. There's a lot of vendors out here, a lot of really, really cool businesses and things of that nature. This is our second exhibit. We went to the Event Planner Expo one a couple months ago. This one seems really, really cool. A lot more wedding professionals, a lot more venues and things of that nature. So we just out here trying to strut our stuff, you know what I'm saying? Just really trying to go ahead, show what we got. Event Space leads to the moon. Let's get it going. Gotta give y'all a little booth flex, you know what I'm saying? Y'all see Mrs. Tanisha Anderson Jackson in the corner doing what she do best, you feel me? So boom, we got the little, I don't even know what these are called, bar stool things, whatever the case may be. We got the monitor showing the YouTube. You see the whole back section right over there. We got another monitor showing the YouTube. We got more cards over there ready to give to the people, love on the people, you feel me? But yeah, we out here at Wedding MBA doing our big thing. Let's get it, let's go. What's going on, guys? Brian here. So I'm so sorry to interrupt the video, but I just wanted to take this time to remind you to please subscribe to the channel. It helps push the video forward so we can get it out to more viewers like you that could really utilize this information. So if you could just take 2 seconds, there'll be a button right below, right next to my name that says subscribe. If you could just go ahead and do that, that's my only ask. That's the only thing I'm asking for. It just really helps the team. It just lets us know that the videos that we're going out are good quality and that they're really helping people. All right, so please do me a quick favor. Hit subscribe. I'll talk to you soon. Back to the video.
What's the biggest misconception people have about starting a venue?
One of the biggest misconceptions that people have about starting a venue is that they believe they need the right location. Location doesn't matter as much in this industry simply because this isn't an Airbnb. They're not staying here for 3, 4, 5 nights trying to go to Disney World or whatever the case may be. They want to come in for one night, enjoy a moment with their friends and family, and then they're gone.
Why do so many people dream of having a venue but never take action?
So many people dream of having a venue, but they don't actually take action because of fear. Fear is one of the #1 reasons that people do not take action, whether they're afraid of losing their money, afraid of taking a risk, afraid of whatever, but it always comes down to fear. So once you get rid of fear, everything else becomes a lot easier.
What hidden fears do you see stopping people from opening their first space?
One of the #1 hidden fears that stops people from opening up their first space is the fear of losing money or the fear of losing time, but more so money, because they think that they have to spend all this money, these hundreds of thousands of dollars to go ahead and open up the space, and then it's just like, oh my God, what if I don't get bookings? The easiest way to combat that is just find a mentor. Find somebody who's already been doing it. Find somebody who's already done it. Let's proven testimonials, who's done it over and over, because it decreases your chance of failure.
Why do people underestimate how much guidance they need to succeed?
People always underestimate how much guidance they think they actually need because they're arrogant to the point where they feel like they could just chat GPT, Google, and YouTube everything. And yes, you can get the information to an extent, but as somebody who lives off chat GPT, I know that there is no experience from somebody who's actually already done it. But it's real world experience, because chat GPT and the internet is gonna give you generic advice. They're not gonna give you tailored advice based on experience.
What's the #1 lie people tell themselves about starting a venue?
One of the #1 lies that people tell themselves about starting a venue is that it costs so much money. One of the biggest things that happens is they think they need these hundreds of thousands of dollars to go ahead and start the business, but they couldn't be further from the truth. The second thing is that they believe that it needs to be their money, when again, that could not be further from the truth. Typically what I'll see is people can use 0% to low interest capital from credit cards to go ahead and open up the space.
Why do people think they need everything perfect before launching?
People feel that they need everything perfect before launching because, one, they're perfectionists. They think that all the stars have to be aligned. They need all the steps, all the A through Z, whatever the case may be, to be right before they start. But here's the thing, right? When you're an entrepreneur, you have to build on the way up. You have to build a plane on the way down. So one of the #1 things I tell people is like, you don't know if you don't start. And if you don't start, you can never finish.
What belief do you wish new venue owners would delete instantly?
The number one belief that I wish that new venue owners would delete instantly is the belief that they need to have all the answers. They need to have everything perfect to start. You don't need to have all the answers. All you need to do is have a good idea and have the right mentorship, and you can launch at that point.
Why does fear of failure paralyze so many potential venue owners?
Fear of failure paralyzes so many business owners in general simply because they feel that they fail, they lose, they lost everything, right? Their world is over. But here's the thing, right? Here's the thing to understand about failure, right? Especially if you're working a job, if you're in a situation you don't like, if you fail, you're right back to where you are right now.
What's the real cost of waiting 6 more months to start?
The number one cost of 6 more months to start in a business that you want to go ahead and start is 6 months of your life in a position that you don't really like. If you're in a situation where you don't like, you're not making the kind of money that you like, you're not spending the kind of time that you want to spend with your friends and family, well, it's your fault that you have to go ahead and do this another 6 months. So start now.
What's the biggest mindset shift a new venue owner can make today?
One of the biggest mindset shifts that a new venue can make today is their view on asking for help. One of the biggest problems that I had as an entrepreneur is that I was afraid to ask for help, and I realized that that was a false belief. If there is somebody else who's already doing something and is already at the level that I want to achieve, one of the easiest and fastest ways for me to get there is to just tap into them.
What was the biggest mistake you made early on, and how do you fix it?
One of the biggest mistakes that I made earlier on was not looking for help quicker. And I don't mean that just in terms of the venue or whatever the case may be, but once I was at a certain point, I just tried to keep on figuring things out on my own. And I feel that I could have scaled a lot faster, a lot farther, and a lot more profitably if I just got the help that I needed right there at that point.
When did you realize mentorship was the difference between a hobby and a real business?
The point at which I realized that mentorship was the difference between something that was a hobby and was a real business, well, for me personally, was not necessarily when it was a hobby, because it was always a real business, but it was the point when I realized that where I was trying to go, and I had not gone before, I needed help. And I can sit here and run my wheels and spin my wheels and try to figure it out on my own, but how much time is it going to cost me? How much money is it going to cost me? How much effort is it going to cost me? That's time away from my friends and family, and that's simply time away from my dream life that I did not want to pay.
What's a belief you had starting out that turned out to be completely wrong?
A belief that I had starting out that turned out to be completely wrong was utilizing my own money for everything. I noticed that when I utilized other people's money, I was able to go a lot further and a lot faster simply because I didn't have to tap my own cash. I used my own money to open up my first venue, but then I used I used other people's money to scale it.
What's something you know now that you wish you knew when you opened your first venue?
Something I know now that I wish I knew when I first started my first business was how easy it was to tap into people who are ahead of you. I didn't even realize that there was when I first started my business, I didn't even realize there was a whole network of people online, digitally, that literally would share the game. And I feel like I would have been so much further and so much farther ahead if I just tapped into people who are ahead of me, binged on Google, binged on YouTube. I wish ChatGPT existed at that time, obviously, but just if I knew that there were resources to get in front of other people and to tap into other people's network and leverage it, I would have been so much further along.
What patterns do you see among clients who win the fastest?
The number one pattern that I see amongst our clients that went the fastest, is that they move the fastest, right? Execution, number one, hands down, will be the best trait that I will ever ask for a client, because you can have all the smarts, you can have all the accolades, you can have all the resources. If you're not taking advantage of them in a speedy manner, as good as dead.
What patterns do you see among the ones who struggle?
The number one pattern I see amongst the clients that struggle, or the entrepreneurs that struggle in general, is that number one, they always let fear consume them instead of them overcoming fear. And number two, they simply do not execute fast enough. I will always beat my competition because of the rate in which I execute. In terms of the rate in which I go after things, the minute something leaves my mouth and the minute it'll appear in real life, I will always win over that.
What's a client story that completely changed the way you view this industry?
I don't think that really happened. Not yet.
What do people get wrong about location, budget, or space selection?
Totally get it, right. One of the number one things that people get wrong about when they're opening up their event space about location, budget, and space is that number one, when it comes to location, they feel like the location really matters. truthfully, it doesn't. This is not an Airbnb business, right? Number two, when it comes down to budget, they feel like they need way more than they really actually do. The thing about it is that you can do something called a minimum viable product, where when you have a minimum viable product, you're doing the bare minimum to get the space up and running. Three, when it comes down to space, people feel they need 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 square feet, when really you don't. We typically focus on micro event spaces, like 1,000 or 5,000 square feet. So at that point, you take it, you scale.
What separates the venue from doing 3 bookings a month from doing 30?
Oh, I like that question. The number one difference between the venues that are doing 3 bookings a month to doing 30 bookings a month is a repeatable and systematic system. Excuse me. Actually, I want to run that back, right? The number one difference between the venues that are doing 3 bookings a month versus doing 30 bookings a month is having a repeatable system, right? When people tell me, oh, you know, we get word of mouth or referrals, that's not a repeatable system. That's not something you can count on. That's not something I can put $1 in and get to it. It doesn't work that way. So the number one thing that you want to have to do is have a very, very repeatable acquisition channel, where it's like, I can put X amount of dollars in Facebook ads and get Y back. I can post X amount of times on Instagram and get Y results. You need something that is repeatable.
What's the fastest transformation you ever seen in the program?
Fastest? What do you think? But it said who or how long?
It says, what's the fastest
Oh,
transformation you ever seen?
what's the fastest?
Yeah, what's
I guess that's turnaround time, yeah. The fastest I've seen somebody go from 0 to a venue with bookings is like 22 days. Cali, shout out Jeanette. That was crazy. 22 days in the program, got a venue, got here first booking. That was crazy.
What do clients underestimate until it's too late?
One of the number one things that clients underestimate until it's too late is how fast they really need to move to make this happen. Because the problem is that a lot of times people, when they lose steam for a very extended amount of time. So they'll fall off the map 30, 60, 90 days, and before they realize it, all this time has passed and they're still in the same position. Doesn't make any sense.
What's the biggest aha moment clients get once they start working with you?
The biggest aha moment that people get when they start working with us is the reframes that we do in their mind. We show them the right things to focus on versus the things that they've been focusing on all this time. Like, I get a lot of people where they say, oh, you know, I've been looking at spaces for years. I'm like, why does it take so long? It doesn't take that long. Cool. These are the things you need to be working about. These are the things that you need to be prioritizing. And these are the things that you should not even give a damn about.
What's one moment you watch someone ignore advice and lose months of progress?
Oh, interesting. There was this one situation, you know what I'm talking about. There was this one situation, well, let me rephrase the question, right? One situation that happened where a client completely ignored our advice and lost months and months of progress was there were these 2 folks where they wanted to get into a lease. It was a very, very large property, very expensive. And we're just like, look, I don't think that this is the best property for you. I think there could be something a lot more manageable, a lot more profitable, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They went ahead with it anyway. A month later, 45 days later, whatever the case may be, they're calling us, oh, it was too expensive. The landlord doesn't want to make these repairs. The landlord doesn't want to do that. And we're just like, what did you expect?
What's one thing you wish every client understood about the support they get?
One thing that I wish every single client of Event Space Elites understood about the support that they get is that it's very, very tailored because it's one-on-one, right? You have your own private space to ask us questions. You have your own one-on-one calls with a client success manager. You could jump on group coaching calls. Like, the support doesn't end. You can get support 24/7, 365 around the border because it's just available for you.
What's one thing people think matters that actually doesn't?
One thing that I feel that a lot of people feel matters that really doesn't to me is the difference between personal and business funding. A lot of people feel like, oh my God, I only want business credit, business credit, business credit. At the end of the day, all the money has to get paid back, period. All the money has to get paid back, whether it's a personal credit card, whether it's a business credit card, whether it's a corporate credit card, whatever the case may be, it all has to get paid back. So if you think you're just gonna run off on the plug just because it's a business credit card, I got another thing for you.
What's one thing people don't take seriously enough when launching their first venue or launching their venue?
One of the biggest things that people do not take seriously enough, and I do not understand why when they are launching their first business, is marketing. Like, so many people open up these businesses, they open up a venue, whatever the case may be, and they're just like, oh, you know, I'm gonna launch it and the people are gonna come, it's gonna spread up word of mouth. Yeah. You and 1,000 other business owners think the same exact way, and it does not work that way. Yes, you always have a bell curve where it's like people are gonna support you at the beginning because it's a new business or whatever the case may be, but at the end of the day, you need a systematic and predictable way of generating leads for your business instantly.
Why do people overspend on decor or build out instead of focusing on demand?
Oh my God. I never understood why people overspend on build out when they don't focus on the marketing. One of the biggest problems is that a lot of people will build these beautiful, grandiose venues and they'll think just because it's beautiful or it's wonderful that these people will come. Yes, that works to an extent, but once that glitz and glamour wears off, you have to have a systematic, repeatable way. So focus on the marketing. I'd rather focus on the marketing, and then I could turn around, get the leads, and turn around and build a beautiful venue.
What's the most common operational mistake that kills momentum?
Interesting. Took my brain a minute. One of the number one biggest operational mistakes that I see business owners do when it comes to building momentum is they get too scatterbrained, right? They want to go ahead and do TikTok ads and Facebook ads and YouTube ads and Google SEO and all these different things. When you're building your first million, it's 1-1-1. One offer, one avatar, one acquisition system. Just do that until you're at $1 million a year.
What's one venue owner should outsource immediately?
One task that venue owners should outsource immediately is absolutely cleaning. Like you shouldn't be doing that at all. If you're spending 2-3 hours cleaning your venue, whatever the case may be, you're wasting time.
What's the biggest bottleneck that stops venues from scaling past $20K a month?
One of the biggest bottlenecks that stops venues from scaling past $20,000 a month or about $250,000 a year is they don't build systems, right? They're still in the hustle phase, which we call the foundation phase of doing everything themselves. And that's cool to an extent, but at a certain point you want to go ahead and have something systematic and repeatable so that you can continue to scale up and you don't get caught up in the weeds.
What leadership mistake slows down venue growth more than anything else?
The number one leadership mistake that I see owners make when they're starting out is not SOPing things, so then they get stuck in the weeds. They get stuck where everybody's asking them for everything and whatever, and I've been there, right? But at a certain point, you want to make sure that everything is documented so that people can go ahead and, in a sense, refer to a brain rather than asking you for everything. That's how businesses grow.
What's the first hire a venue owner should make when things start picking up?
The first hire a venue owner should make is absolutely a cleaning person, a housekeeper. After that, absolutely should be a virtual assistant to run the operation.
How do venue owners wait too long to think like CEOs?
Oh, wow. The biggest problem that I see is that too many people wait to think like a CEO and they're stuck in this hustle mindset. And the reason they do that is because they feel that hustle is gonna solve other problems. Systems solve problems, right? You don't raise to your goals, you don't rise to your goals, you fall to your systems. So the easiest switch that you can make as a new entrepreneur to start thinking like a CEO is to just simply operate as a CEO. And CEOs operate under systems, they operate under SOPs, they operate under delegation. And it's fine if you're doing it on your own for the beginning, but you want to work towards somebody else doing it for the long term.
What separates venues that plateau from venues that scale to six-figure monthly?
That cause venues or business owners in general to plateau rather than scaling is number one, they don't focus on one offer, one avatar, one acquisition system. And I mean, frankly, you can take one offer, one avatar, one acquisition system up to $1 million. I've seen it done up to 10 million and just do that. But too many times they're scatterbrained. They scatter their effort and their bandwidth across all these different platforms and it just doesn't make any sense.
What's the number one reason venues struggle to get consistent tours?
The number one reason that venues struggle to get consistent tours is that they don't focus on cash flow. So they'll go ahead and have a great month off word of mouth or whatever the case would be, and they won't reinvest it back into the business. That's how you grow. If you're stagnant or you're not growing, it's because you're not reinvesting back into the business.
A myth that needs to die immediately.
A marketing myth that needs to die immediately is that word of mouth is marketing. Word of mouth is not marketing. That is not marketing. Remove it from your vocabulary, obliterate it from your thoughts. That is not marketing. You can generate some type of traffic and flow, but that is not marketing. Marketing is a systematic and predictable way of generating leads for your business. That is marketing.
Why do some venues go viral while others get no traction?
Yeah, a lot of times venue owners are chasing virality when they shouldn't be chasing virality. They should be chasing systems, right? I don't want to go viral or care to go viral because I'm spending a certain amount of money on Facebook ads. I'm posting a certain amount where I'm generating enough traffic for my business to grow. So I don't have to worry about going viral. I've never even considered going viral because I know that with a certain amount of inputs that I'm putting in my acquisition channels, I'm getting a certain number of outputs.
What mistakes do most DIY marketers make that cost them thousands?
One big mistake that DIY marketers make is they do boost posts as opposed to running actual Facebook ads on the Meta Business Manager. Boosting posts is kind of like a machine gun just kind of spraying everywhere. Facebook ads, Meta Business Manager is like a sniper going after exactly what you want.
What's the number one thing you wish every venue owner understood about social media?
One of the number one things that I wish every single venue owner understood about social media is that there is a system involved. You want to go ahead and post in accordance with your target audience. And you want to also post with a certain amount of cadence. Not post when I feel like it, not post when I want to. I want to post with a cadence, whether that's 3 times a day, 3 times a week, or whatever the case may be, but I want to post with a cadence and I want to post with authority.
The difference between a venue that stays booked and one that's always slow.
The difference between a venue that's always booked and a venue that is always slow is they want to have a system. I talk about systems all the time, save yourself time, energy, and money, but if you are having a slow month, well, it's because you don't have a repeatable system in place. Like, we don't have slow months. We don't put slow months in place because we're paying the same kind of money, we're generating the same amount of leads or whatever the case may be. Yes, you have months where you might not get as much output or whatever the case may be, which might be considered a slow month, but at the end of the day, it's not to the point where I have to fire anybody or burn down the company or whatever the case may be. It just might be a little less revenue, but we still get enough to pay the bills and keep everything going.
Why do people overthink marketing instead of following a proven system?
A lot of times people overthink marketing simply because they're trying to market in too many different ways. You shouldn't have to market in too many different ways. You want to go ahead and get in one system, one channel, and just run that up to the moon. Like, always think about this: why can't I 10x? And just do that, just 10x. If you're posting 3 times a week, post 30 times a week. If you're going ahead and generating 30 leads a month, how can I generate 300 leads a month? Like that.
What's one marketing strategy that instantly increases tour volume?
One marketing strategy that instantly increases tour volume is just running Facebook ads. That's it. Just run Facebook ads. You'll get more tours. That's it.
What separates amateur venue branding from professional branding?
The number one thing that separates amateur venue branding and professional venue branding is just showing up the same way every single time. Like, for example, we came to this event, you see the black, gold, and white, you see the black, gold, and white, you see the black, gold, and white. It's repeatable. People know what to expect. Same thing with McDonald's, you see the golden arch. Same thing with Apple, you see the white, you see the clear, you see the metal, right? People need to be able to associate certain patterns with your brand. And if it's all over the place, if it looks janky, then it doesn't make sense. And this is not to be confused with, oh, I have a pretty logo. Okay, cool. When people think about your brand, what do they think about? Do they think about reliance? Do they think about experts? Do they think about amateurs? That separates the ones who really get it and the ones that don't. Let's rock out. Let's get it. Wedding MBA, let's go.